All right, everybody. Today we are going to be talking about 8.5i, which deals with writing a linear equation from a situation and/or graph. Okay, so remember that 8.5i simply talks about how we can use linear equations, okay, in a way in which we can write an equation in the form of y equals mx plus b to model a linear relationship between two quantities using verbal, numerical, tabular, and graphical representations. This is an offshoot of the multiple representations unit that we did last year. So I'm going to do this video in two different parts, okay? The first part is going to deal with graphing from situations, writing an equation from graphs and situations. And then part number two is going to be where we graph from a table to write an equation, and then writing an equation from a table. But that'll be in the second part of this particular video. All right, so as you see here on the screen, this very first situation talks about a cash register that subtracts $2.50 from a $25 gift card for every medium coffee that a customer buys. Now, we're going to use the graph to write an equation in slope-intercept form to represent a situation. So if we take a look here, this is going to be done in a couple different steps, okay? I'm actually going to outline this in 3 steps, and I'll show you that in just a moment when you see exactly what I'm writing. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to take a look at this particular graph. I know that more than likely, or it will be, in order to write my equation, I'm going to need 2 points. I want to choose the most obvious points. So the most obvious points for me are going to be the ones that actually hit the x and the y axis. So here, it's going to hit my axis at 10, 0. I'm going to write that one down. I know also that this is counting up in increments of 5. Every tick mark is going to be 5. So I know that this one is going to be 0, 25. And I'm actually going to write that one down as well. All right. So let's go ahead and switch over to what I'm going to be writing. All right. So if we notice here, again, 8.5i. So this is going to be done in 3 steps. As I said, the first step is going to be for us to find the slope from 2 graphed points. And again, there's going to be anywhere along that particular line. Okay. Next is going to be for me to find the y-intercept from the graph. And I'm actually going to physically inspect the graph. Okay. I'm going to read this graph rather than calculating. Now, I personally have made sure that you guys are aware, if you're a parent listening, the students have been instructed how to do it mathematically as well, but we're going to rely on the graph in this particular example. I'm going to separate these two. And then step number 3 is going to be where I use the slope that I calculate and y-intercept, and I'm going to abbreviate that INT, and input those values in the slope-intercept formula. Sorry for my handwriting. Excuse me. All right. So first things first, what I'm going to do, as I said, is I wrote down 2 different points here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the slope. I'm going to use my slope formula. This has been talked about at length in other videos, okay? I personally like to stack them this way because I have x and y, and I normally will circle my y values to keep myself straight, okay? Even I, as a teacher, need to make sure that I have my eye on the prize, which is getting to the appropriate answer, and the tools that I use to do that are visuals more than likely, okay? So this becomes 25, and I'm simply simplifying. 25 minus 0, 25. 0 minus 10 will become a negative 10. Why is that, Mr. Moore? If I'm starting at 0, subtracting 10 is going to give me a negative 10. I need to observe the rules of dividing integers. In this case, if I'm dividing a positive and a negative, my slope becomes negative. Okay, that's negative 2.5 for my slope. Step number 2, and I'm going to go back to the graph to take a look at that. Okay, so if I take a look here back at my graph, I notice that it hits the y-axis. This is my y-axis. It hits the y-axis at 0.25. So again, what is the value for y in that particular case? The value for y in that particular case is going to be 25. So again, 25. That's x and y. My value for y, where it actually hits y, is going to be 25. So y-intercept equals 25. Okay, so I've been telling my students that, and they know that I like to cook. Okay, when I put all of my ingredients together, I was talking to them about making soup. All of my ingredients, carrots, onions, chicken, blah, blah, blah. Put it all together. I say make that soup. We're going to put all of our ingredients together for this particular formula. I have my slope, I have my y-intercept, and I'm going to use this formula as the model, where this is my y value, slope, x value, and b will stand for your y-intercept. Okay? So now I am going to put all of these things together. So I have my y value. I have my slope, which is negative 2.5. I'm going to multiply that by x. It's going to give me this number. I'm going to put in my y-intercept. Okay, so this is the formula for that particular line that we saw. That is the formula for that line. The formula for that line. Okay, so if there again are any questions about that, please rewind this part of the video and go back through it. Okay, we're going to move on to the next one. I'm going to show you the next example. All right, so on to our next example. So our next example is going to be where we're going to write an equation actually from a description. Now, because of the fact that this deals with reading, this one can be a little bit trickier than the others. The only thing that you have to make sure that you do is that you identify your input and your output values or variables. Okay, we know that our input is synonymous with our x. We know that our output is synonymous with our y. X, again, independent, y, dependent. Okay, so we just need to ask ourselves, what is going to be our input value? What is going to be our output value? So if we look at this particular example, it says that rent is charged for space in an office building is going to be a linear relationship related to the size of the space rented. And we're going to write an equation in slope-intercept form for the rent at West Main Street office rental. So look at the ad here. It says that 600 feet, is going to be $750. 900 square feet is going to be $1,150. Now, the input is going to be the square footage, and the output is going to be your monthly rent. So it stands to reason that the output is going to depend upon the amount of space that is being rented, okay? So the dollar amount that you pay will be a direct result or dependent upon the amount of space that you choose to contract, okay? So being that we know that input is space, that's square footage, output is going to be cost or your monthly rent, we have identified our X and our Y values. So what we can do is we can use that to actually set up an X and a Y coordinate. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over to our paper. So again, we know that our input and output, cost and square footage, okay, that is our rent, also known as, okay. We know also the WDIK, what do I know? 600 square feet is going to be 750. And 900 square feet is going to be $1,150, okay? So I could make this into coordinates. I could say 600 is my X, 750 is my Y, okay? Again, X and Y. I know also that 900 and 1150, sorry, I'm running out of space on the edge of the paper here, is going to be, again, my X and my Y. Okay, now I'm going to, again, use these input and output variables to make ordered pairs, which I've just done. Now, I pretty much, after I have done that part, this was step number 1, step number 2, okay? I'm going to fall back into these steps. Now that I have these ordered pairs, I'm going to go right back into the same thing, using that to find my slope, okay? So the slope is going to be, since I have my ordered pairs here, and again, I like to line these up, it is easier for me to see. Ordered pairs, these are my Y values. I'm going to use this to identify my slope, Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. This becomes 1150 minus 750 over 900 minus 600, which is going to simplify to 400 over 300. Now, a little trick. I can simplify by matching up zeros. Again, 4 over 3 is my slope. 4 over 3 is my slope. I'm going to zoom this in just a little bit. Okay. 4 over 3 is my slope. Now, the next step is for me to find my B value, okay? So in this case, I had step number 1, step number 2, step number 3. In this particular instance was for me to find my slope. Step number 4, in this case, is for me to find B, okay? Now, the way that I find B, we've talked about in other videos. I'm going to set up my slope-intercept form of the equation. I'm going to plug in my slope here. And the additional thing that I'm going to do is I am going to plug in one ordered pair. I'm going to plug in this particular ordered pair. I'm going to plug in my X value here. I'm going to put this over 1. Why am I doing that? I'm putting it over 1 because, again, any number can be made into a fraction. I'm going to use this, 750, okay? The reason I want to use this particular number, I'm trying to find B, by the way, so that is left as is. The reason that I'm doing it this way is because I know that 3 and 600 have common factors. The common factor is 3. This is a multiplication sentence, so again, 4 times 200, 1 times 1. When I simplify, this becomes 800 over 1, or just regular old 800. I am going to subtract 800 from both sides. Okay, that becomes negative 50 is equal to B. Now, put that soup together using my analogy, again, using my generic slope-intercept form of the equation. I'm not going to plug in X and Y here because I don't need X. I want to be able to predict future values of Y. So I know that Y is going to equal my slope, 4/3 X plus a negative 50, or just minus 50. Now, we talked about in class what we can interpret that negative 50 as. We can interpret it as some discount, etc., on the rent in this particular real world situation. So, as always, you can come to tutorials on either Tuesday or Thursday. Ask me a question in class about this. If you are curious, back this video up and watch it again, or just, again, come to tutorials with a question in hand. All right, that is it. And as always, I will see you tomorrow in class.